Hey guys, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Just getting started, just getting started. Okay. All right. So I'm just wondering whether there's a way to get rid of all these messages. I have like a ton of messages. Drop it every 5 seconds. All right, guys. Nice to connect with all of you. This is fantastic. I'm really happy that we're back on. I just want to, just explain to some of the viewers what this whole thing is about. I set up the Lose Your Mind tribe as something that's really dear to me. I'm really passionate about helping people. I'm also very passionate about growing people. I'm passionate about building people's confidence. Just really trying to cultivate a feeling of growth and excitement, but also wealth. I like making money. I like to teach people how to make lots of money. I like to spot opportunities in people and things that are around us. There's lots of things that are really, really missed by so many people because they're always focused on what they don't have. So the Lose Your Mind is a cleansing. It's a process that you go through to forget everything. Forget, what they told you. Forget, in fact, in some cases, forget what they taught you. Because we get taught lots of things that, hey, Joey, how you doing? Emily. We get taught a lot of things that, when you actually look at it carefully, eventually, you go, what was this about, It's a picture of a guy describing each part of a grasshopper. This leg is called this and this is called this, and I'm going, what's the bearing of that in terms of life? So that's why I set up Lose Your Mind. Lose Your Mind is about renewing of the mind, unlearning and also undoing some of those things, those limited beliefs, if you like, that were taught to us by people that didn't know any better. You see, the thing is, we come from a culture, especially ethnic people. We come from a culture of love. It's a very intimate culture where, your people are your family, indeed. Your extended families, your neighbors, your church people, your mosque, people. All types of different people become your friends. And then eventually you have so many uncles and aunties, and you go, Auntie Mary, and you go, how are you related to her? I'm not related to her, but she's just my mom's friend. So everybody has an opinion when you're growing up, and when you learn those things, it's very difficult to undo them. It's almost impossible because some of them form the beliefs that become core to what you actually become eventually. So I want to teach you a couple of things that helped me, and I'm going to start this with a story. When I was growing up, I had an opportunity to meet some very influential people, very powerful people, that taught me some really, really good things. And one of the things I learned was about attitude. Attitude was it's one of my favorite subjects in the world. I train on attitude. I treat it like it's a tangible thing. I talk about it any given time because attitude indeed saved my life. It really did save my life, yeah? So as a young man growing up, I was enrolled into a sales company, and I had to learn how to sell. And one of the things that was really amazing was I met so many people, and I used to be one of these people that used to, I'm really like, listen, man, I like my space, I don't want to talk to too many people. So I went from being a shy boy to a private, boy, because I thought if I say to people I'm private, they're not going to think that, I'm lacking confidence, And then you kind of shield your lack of confidence with physical stuff. So I became aggressive. I went in the gym. I was doing boxing. I was doing all kinds of different things, just really to cover up, some insecurities, because I wasn't confident. Deep down, I was terrified. I was always scared. And here's the funny thing. As men, we do this. Men, a lot of men do that. They find a way to release that anger, that anxiety into things that they call, I'm really good at that. So don't ask me to do any other stuff or whatever. I don't like talking. I don't like mixing with people. I'm just, I just like keeping to myself. So that was my thing, and I thought, and the people who know me know that I was really shy as a young man, but then I graduated from being shy to being private, from being private to being, I'm a quiet guy, just leave me alone, I like my own space, that kind of thing. So when I joined sales, I was living in South London, and as I lived in South London, I realized that being a young person in South London, around Brixton, Streatham area, that's where I used to live, you had to be really hard. Like you had to, walk around, like puffed up all the time. You had to have a certain swag, and people think swag is just a recent thing. No, we've been like that for a long time. So everybody was into this idea of you have to look the part. How you looked was more important than how you really are. So you may be like a little weak guy, but you had your game face on. So when I joined direct sales, the guy said to me, you have to have a really good attitude. It's a guy called Dominic Kotarski, he's my trainer. He said, have a great attitude. And I said, dude, I'm okay. My attitude is good. Like, look at me, I'm fine, So when he talked about attitude, on the street, what I knew as attitude is you had to have your game face. So you had to walk around scaring people, looking at people a different way, or not looking at people. Because sometimes if you looked at a person or a person the wrong way, they'll go, what are you doing? Why are you looking at me like that? So I had to understand that, look, man, you have to put on your game face to stay, within this neighborhood. So my understanding of the word attitude was you had to be, somebody that people feared, or somebody that looked scary, somebody that looked like, you knew what you're doing, even though you didn't know what you did. So it was a fallacious thing. It was all false pretense. That's what we did, just to ensure that, we were able to survive. So when I joined direct sales, and they kept talking to me about, have a great attitude, Danny, have a great attitude. And I thought, yeah, I have a great attitude, man. And then one guy came, he said, look, man, you need to be humble. So I didn't understand. I was very confused. That word attitude is one of the most misused or misunderstood words in the English dictionary. People think attitude is a thing, where you just look a certain way or you act a certain way, and that's, that girl has attitude, that guy has attitude. Attitude is a frame of mind. And sales taught me attitude. Attitude is a frame of mind. It's really how you frame things in your mind. Okay, so when I talk about lose your mind, I'm talking about lose your old mind. It's important that you don't harbor those feelings of anxiety, frustration, and you cover them up with a facade that looks like you know what you're doing. The 3 or 4 most important things about attitude is understanding the difference between a positive attitude, because it's a state of mind. It's a mental state. Your attitude is your frame of mind. Your attitude is your outlook on life. It's how things appear to you or how you actually perceive things, yeah? Hey, Priscilla, Liz, how you doing? It's how you perceive things. So here's the thing. When somebody says you have a bad attitude, it's not because they're accurate. It's because that's how they feel about you. Watch. Now, your perception is not as important as their perception. Let me explain. If you're going to see a person to have a business conversation and they get this energy where they feel like, I don't like this person's attitude, even before you speak, unfortunately, you have to adjust your attitude to fit them, if that makes sense. So it's really important. You have to adjust your attitude to fit in with their expectations. So attitude is your frame of mind. Is how you think. It's how you think. So sometimes we're thinking about things that make us look a certain way, but because we don't really have a constant mirror in front of us, we think we're okay. So you may be going through something, or somebody made a call, or you got a text message and it wasn't that pleasant and you're feeling really down, and you meet somebody and they say hi and you go hi. They go, what's wrong with you? You go, nothing, I'm fine. Are you sure? You go, yeah. Sometimes it's a phone call. You call somebody, hey, how you doing? And they go, I'm good. But listen, what's wrong with you? And you go, well, what do you mean? Did I say something wrong? You go, no. It's just that you sound like there's something wrong with you. Attitude is so powerful. It can penetrate walls. It can penetrate technology. It can cross borders. It can go over the oceans. So you've got to be absolutely certain how you utilize your attitude, because your attitude determines how successful or how much you fail in life. Hey Ethel, attitude has the ability to determine beyond any kind of academics that you've acquired. You could be a PhD, you could be, I don't know, a scholar or professor of sort. If you have a terrible attitude, you have the propensity or the potential to be a failure. Attitude is your frame of mind. So write these things down. It's how you get it. Getting a positive attitude is really important. Understanding there's a formula. There's a formula, because we're not really taught this. And I believe, I advocate for this. I always say to people, attitude should be a faculty in every institution. It should be a faculty, the faculty of attitude. You're teaching people how to utilize the most powerful thing they have in it. Listen, your brain is the most powerful resource that you have in life as a human being. It's where all the treasures are buried. So when you don't know how to use it, it's like you're in the jungle and they give you a gun and you don't know how to use it, but I've got a gun, and they go, okay, shoot me. You go, well, I don't know how to use it. So attitude is your frame of mind. Attitude is your outlook. Attitude is who you are. So your thoughts become things. Your thoughts become things. The things you think about, the thing you most ponder about, the things you most talk about, the things that you most dwell in, if you like, those become who you become. So how do you acquire a positive attitude? Number one. Number two, how do you keep it? That's very important. How do you keep a positive attitude? Because it's one thing having a really positive attitude. The second thing is, hey, hold on a second. I have a really good attitude, but do you know how to keep it? Because, I'm telling you, as much as you go up, you're going to always come down. So remember, it's not about just acquiring a good attitude or positive attitude. It's about keeping it. And then the third step is protecting your attitude. Protect your attitude. It's so important, man. I don't know how to emphasize this, but you have to protect your attitude. How do you protect your attitude? You stay away from things that take your attitude. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. And the last part about your attitude is how to grow it. Attitude grows. Attitude grows. And listen, as it grows, so does your success. Success grows as your attitude grows. As you expand in terms of your attitude, your success grows as well. So getting a good attitude, keeping it, protecting it, and growing it. Now, there's something I read the other day, and it's really powerful. There's nothing to God. There's nothing to conquer. There's nothing to God. There's nothing to conquer. What happens is we have these inadequacies that we put in our heads. So we have a perception, a self-perception that says, I'm not really good enough. We have a self-perception that says, I'm not strong enough. We have a perception that says, they don't like me that much. We have a perception that, so all of those things, the image you paint of yourself, the internal narrative that you have about yourself is what you project. Your projection becomes people's perception of you. Your projection becomes people's perception of you. So how you project yourself is how I'm going to... Dogs operate in such a way that if they smell danger, they come after you. If they don't smell danger, they back off. They go, this person is good. So there's nothing to God. The one thing we have to learn to do is to curb our inhibitions. This narrative that you've been given, this is why I said lose your mind. They told you you're not good enough. You're really poor at academics. You're really, very slow. You're not a good student. You're a very moody person. Nobody likes you. You have a really dull personality. So all of those things start to form your belief system. And as your belief system grows into that, you acquire it, you expand it, it becomes part of who you are. So I really want to encourage you to dismiss all of that and start to remember this. There's nothing to God. You're not defending anything. Stop defending yourself and saying, I hope they accept me. I hope I'm good enough. I hope, it's like somebody coming for an interview and saying, if I know everything, I know what I'm supposed to, but I don't think I'm good enough. Unfortunately, you're not. So whatever you think you are, you are. So really, really important. There's nothing to conquer. There's nothing bigger than us. The goals you always place ahead of you, and you say, I want to buy a mansion this size. I want to, be able to go to Paris. I want to go to New York, or I want to build a condominium and stuff. You have all of these dreams or things that are aspirational to you, that you go, I want to have these things. Unfortunately, this is the problem. Unfortunately, we call them thinking big, which means you're thinking of things that are potentially bigger than you. So because I don't have to guard anything, and I don't have to defend anything, and I don't have to conquer anything. I have never seen a big giant, a 6'5" guy saying, I have this guy who's about 6 years old, I have to conquer this guy. Nobody conquers things that are beneath them. So you need to remember that we elevate things that we pursue in life as more important, as grander than we are. Therefore, we become smaller than we're supposed to be. You see, we were created kings and queens. We were created prince and princesses. We were created royal. But what happens is, because you get bitten every single day, you start to think that's not true. So I'm going to give you a formula you can follow to, that was a start to just really get you warmed up. But I want to give you a formula. So everything starts with everything within you. I want you to write that down in your comments, or so you can capture it wherever you want to capture it. You can put it on this video. Everything starts with everything within you. It's inward, outward. So everything that you are, everything that you do, everything that you represent starts with the inner conversation. So one of the things you have to learn to do is lie to yourself to become that thing that you want to become. And it sounds very, negative when you say lie to yourself. You have to say you're happy even when you're crying. I'm a happy person though. I'm really happy, When you're really terrified, you have to say, I'm good. I'm strong with this. I don't feel how I want to feel right now, but I'm getting better. Every second I feel like I'm getting stronger. I'm getting more courage. As I walk around, I'm starting to feel more courage. You have to start educating yourself to become those things you want to become. You have to start speaking of them. Pronounce who you want to be. Words land. I am blessed. I am favored. I'm intelligent. I'm intelligent. Now, that inner conversation starts to happen. Let me tell you something scientifically. This is, because I'm a spiritual guy. But listen, I read everything. I read about science. I read about lots of different things. The body has trillions of cells. Our cells are so intelligent that they hold every single memory of everything we've ever gone through. And guess what? They store it. Our cellular makeup, to the smallest part of who we are, these cells are so intelligent, they remember everything, the trauma and the triumphs. They remember everything. Watch. So you need to start being in the habit of feeding your cells the right nutrition, the right emotions. So when you cultivate a positive attitude, your cells are starting to feed on things that actually make you a positive person. Positive people get positive results. So you've got to feed yourself from inward outward. So watch this. So this is how you need to do. So what we tend to do with attitude is define your circumstances. So you look at things as they are. You look at things as they are. You look at things as they should be, how you would want them to be. You go, that's how it is right now. And I would really like it if it wasn't like that. If it was like that, they go, okay. And that's how it shouldn't be. Right? So we have this three-tier way of perceiving things, and it's really unbelievable because all of it is fallacious. It's false. Nothing has meaning. The only meaning that things have is the meaning you give it. Nothing has meaning but the meaning you give it. Hey, Irene, and I see someone called Mando. Mando, how you doing? So nothing has meaning except the meaning you give it. So watch this, and I want to help you with this, okay? So you look at it for what it is, what it should be, and how it shouldn't be. So one of the things that I want to give you a scenario. So somebody drives past you in this car, and they're flying. They're flying. The car is just cruising at like 100 miles an hour. And it's like, vroom. So, there's 20 people standing nearby, and watch what happens. The brain goes into action. Their brain says, that's dangerous. One says dangerous. The other one says show off. The other one says in a hurry. The other one says, I wonder if he's okay. The other one says, nice car. The other one says, fast car. I'd love to have one of those cars. The other one says, I've always wanted to do something like that. Do you understand where I'm going? There's so many different perceptions. It's just a fast car. A fast moving car went by and people followed it with their perception of that car, their attitude towards the fast moving car. Now, none of them are accurate. But all of them are accurate based on their perception. So your attitude is always accurate. I am stupid. Yes, you are. I am smart. Yes, you are. I'm intelligent. Yes, you are. I am lovable. Yes, you are. Everything you say, the brain says, yes, you are. It's a recipient. Your subconscious will always say, yes, that's fine. I agree with that. So when you see the car passing by and it's really flying by, you have a feeling. Everything you put in your head, if you say that's dangerous, it creates a feeling of danger. If you say that's too fast, it creates a feeling of either exhilaration or a feeling of why is this guy moving so fast? That's unfair. He could harm somebody. So you need to be very careful how you position the things that you actually see. Things that are visible to you are not always as they appear. They are how you actually think they are. And I hope you get it. So you see something, you interpret that, so you have a definition for it. So you give it feeling, and then when you give it a feeling, the feeling is a good one or a bad one. You either have a good feeling or a bad feeling towards that. So watch what happens. So if you have a bad feeling towards that, you act accordingly. So somebody would pick up their phone immediately and say, a guy just walked by, he's calling the police. Listen, you need to go on, there's a guy, I saw his number plate, he's driving like a madman, it's dangerous for the community. Somebody else will call his friend and say, I just seen a guy in a Ferrari, man, you know, I just had good spin pulls. Listen, you have no idea. This was the most beautiful thing. I saw a guy, he was driving in a red Ferrari. Hey, Anis, how you doing? Doris, how you doing? I saw a guy in a red Ferrari and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. That's my dream car. They were so excited. Same set of circumstances, so many different interpretations. And unfortunately, after you interpret something, after you define something, when you define something, you put it in a box. That's your attitude towards that something. A person, an event, a situation, COVID-19. Lots of people are saying this is the worst thing that's ever happened to the world. Some people are saying this is the most amazing situation for me, who is still alive, who has my health or whatever. This is a really good time to thank God. It's a really good time to celebrate how beautiful life is. You have been granted a little bit more time. Come on, yo. Listen, love it. Your perception is your reality. Your perception is your reality. Akko, how you doing? Your perception is your reality. So I want you to understand that you have a responsibility after the definition. As you define something, hey, my friend is here, Mr. Olu, Jerry Dixon. Listen, as you define something, it manifests in your life. So, you think of something, you feel something about it, and then you make a decision. Now, when you make a decision, that feeling puts you in two states, right? You're either in control or out of control. So some people will see, listen man, listen. Some people will see that car flying by. And you know what they say? They go, you know what? This guy is going to crash into somebody. They sit down and they start freaking out saying, what's happened? Where did he go? Man, there was a car that just went by. I don't know. Like, I'm just waiting. They watch the news. They pull out their phones and go, he has to hit something. This guy, what's going on? Because that's their perception. Immediately they see something, they go into a feeling that gets them into a state of out of control, so they sense danger. Watch this. You can take this concept into your life in any aspect of your life. Any aspect of your life, you can put this concept in there. You think of something, you feel something about it, it either puts you in control or out of control. Now, the only way you're going to be in control is a realization that you invited it. You have the decision to press the button that says, this is my responsibility, I can change it. So therefore, somebody does something to you, you don't say, I wonder why people keep doing that stuff to me. Well, the question is, what do I do to make people want to do that stuff to me? That's the question you got to ask yourself. I remember being a young man saying to people, man, this guy, he might rip me off. And then I met somebody that said to me, Danny, that's so stupid. That's like the dumbest thing you can say. I said to him, what do you mean? He said, if you keep telling people that you're worried about people ripping you off, there'll be people lining up outside your house ready to rip you off. Because you're inviting them. Remember, your cells, your trillion cells that are in your body, they all have a memory. And in concert, they move. They have motions and attitudes that will allow them to actually act accordingly. They give you those feelings, those emotions. Once you get those emotions in play, boom, there's a manifestation. So you see a guy walking around, talking to themselves, saying, I can't believe it, man. Life is too hard. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, people don't like me, and they're going crazy. And you go, what's wrong with this guy? You know why they're going crazy? Because they have instructed themselves that they're out of control. Everything is against me. So now you can put being broke in that category. If you're broke, it's because, listen, you observe things that give you a perception of lack. Like, I don't have money, I will never have money, it's so much, harder to make money than not to make any money, and all that kind of stuff, right? If you're a miserable person, listen, it's by invitation. Because you cultivate feelings that say, my attitude is that I am a miserable person. I was born like that. I just don't have, I don't know why people are just always happy. Like, I'm normal. So that becomes a normal. That's like, I'm normal. Normal means I'm miserable. And if they catch you being happy, they go, you smiled. You may just, you understand, you smiled. Why did you smile? Did you see Jane? Jane smiled. People are so freaked out when they see you smiling because they're not used to that part of you. You have given everybody the concept that you're always miserable. Now watch this. If you flip the script and you say, everything I do, I always make money. I was telling a friend, sometimes I'm so indulgent with myself. And it's a very beautiful thing in a very spiritual way. I think sometimes God changes things in the world just for me. Yeah. And guess what? You too can say that about yourself. It's okay. It's okay. Listen, that conversation, that statement I just made, you have it too. Sometimes God shifts things just for you. And when do you know how much control I have over my life? When I see stuff, I go, this is good. This lockdown is for me. This lockdown is for me. So I'm in control. I am not locked up. No. I am in the process of unlocking. Some of those things that have been clogged in my mind, in my spirit, I am unlocking those things. So I am not in a position of lack. I'm in a position of abundance. I have everything I need, man. Like, you have no idea. Like, I'm good. So you need to learn how to build your attitude muscle. That's your first letter in the word AIM. Learn how to build your attitude muscle. This is one of the most amazing things you can do in your life. So when you take responsibility, you're in control. Even if you're out of control and you say, you know what, this is my responsibility. I'm miserable because I want to be miserable. Guess what? When you do that, you take control again. You rediscover yourself, you take control again. I want to give you something. This is really important. Nothing has meaning until you give it meaning. And I said that already. Okay? So you feel something. Okay? So attitude is think. believe with a feeling. Watch. Think, believe with a feeling. Right? Okay? You act and you become. Okay? I remember being a kid in my mother's house, my father's house, and I used to fake sickness because, you know, most people hate school. Like, I don't know why they, you know, people haven't realized this, yeah? Most of us grow up hating school. We don't like school. So I used to have to figure out a way not to go to school. I'll be like, you know, I'm going to do something. I'm going to fake something today not to go to school. So I'll say to my mom, you know, Mama, I have a headache, like I have fever, you know, and you know, sometimes you rub a part of your head and then it's a bit hot and then you say, touch here. And she's like, yeah. You say, I'm really not feeling well. She says, okay, stay in bed, and they will make you eggs. They make you a cup of tea and they bring it and you're saying, Mom, and you're doing all that kind of stuff, right? Okay, so they bring you everything, they serve you, they put it away, and then guess what? About 11 o'clock, you can't come out because you want to come out and play, but you can't, because if you come out and play, guess what? You're not sick, you lied, right? You're going, and you know, in Africa, you know what happens. You know, the cane comes out, right? So what I did is, I'll be like, yeah, let me just be sick, man. Like, I'm sick. And let me tell you, as God is my witness, boom, the headache comes. I go, you know, I actually have a headache. I am sick, actually. This wasn't pretending. So these things can happen if you think of something with feeling. You think of something, you feel it, you act upon it, you become it. Think, believe, act, become. Think, believe, act, become. That's your attitude. I think I'm blessed. Right? I believe I'm blessed. I act blessed. I get people blessing me all the time. Guess what? I become blessed. I think I'm really strong. You've met people who are really skinny, but really strong. I think I'm strong. I believe I'm strong. I feel strong. Right? I act strong. I become strong. People go, whoa! I think I'm a leader. I think I'm a leader. I believe I'm a leader. I feel like a leader. I start to act like leaders do. Guess what? I become a leader. That's the essence of life, man. If you can master that, yo, listen, you have smashed it. Nobody can stand in your way. If you really change that paradigm and you start to focus on those things that are good, things will change. Watch this, and I'm going to give you an analogy. A man thinks about 60,000 thoughts a day. A male will think about 60,000 thoughts a day. Watch this, right? If you think you're smart enough to control 60,000 thoughts a day, you have absolutely got it wrong. There is no way you can control 60,000 thoughts a day. So watch what you do. And it's a really simple way, very, very simple way to control how you feel. Because remember, if those cells start to feel really happy, they give you a feeling of happiness. The hormones are happy. Everything starts to act happy. Before you know, you start gravitating towards things that bring you more happiness. So watch what I'm telling you now. The easiest way to control your destiny is to focus on changing your state, your feeling, your emotional state. Your thoughts you can't control. They're too many. Even as you watch this, some of you are thinking of 1,000 things, right? It's very, very difficult to control your thoughts, but it's very easy to control your feelings. You know why? Because you only have two feelings. One feels good, one feels bad. And when it feels bad, you know. When it feels good, you know. So what you have to do, when it feels bad, you go, whoa, 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 this is not my state. This is not the essence of who I'm supposed to be. I need to change. So how do you change that? It's very simple. Very, very simple to change. You know how you change it? I call them anchors. I call them anchors. Some of you know how to do this very well. Very easy, right? An anchor could be a prayer that you say all the time you're depressed. You say a prayer and it comes back to you. It could be your son, your daughter, your cousin, your brother, your sister, your niece. It could be somebody that gives you so much life. When you think of them, you go, man, you feel all mushy and you go, man, I feel so good. You know, so you need to find your anchor. It could be a piece of music. It could be a piece of literature. It could be a book that you pick up. It could be a script that you read. It could be anything. It could be a place that you go to all the time, by the brook. You walk around and you feel the trees and you hear the birds sing. You say, I feel better. Know your anchors. You have to know those things that get you back in state. Things that get you back into a feel-good state are really, really important. I call them anchors. It's really, really powerful. The other thing you can use to change your state, your emotional state, and that's the most important thing. As you change your emotional state, as you feel better, your thoughts start to gravitate towards looking for things that make you feel even better. Thoughts can be manipulated as you start to regain your feel good, feelings. Those things, that go, ooh, I'm good. I don't know if it's happened to you. You've gone to a party or you've gone to a place where you thought, I don't want to go. And they dragged you and, no, I don't want to go. No, let's go. No, I don't want to go. And then you got there and you go, man, I don't know why I came here. And then you see, oh my God, Bob, how you doing? And you had Bob and you said, where did you go? He said, I went to Australia. You go, I can't believe you're here. He goes, look at my sister Mary. Little Mary, this is Mary. And you're so excited. Guess what happened? The misery is gone. That person became your anchor. Within seconds, you're able to change your state. You can do that on purpose. If you live in that world, if you live in that state, if you prolong the time you spend in that state, you know what happens? You know what happens? You get stuck there. And then you get stuck there. Do you know what happens? You get stuck with good things. You know what happens when you get stuck with good things? You get more of them. When you get more of them, you know what happens? People start saying, that guy is rich. That guy is happy. That guy is likable. That guy is, oh my God, she's so charming. And she's so lovable. And everybody talks about her. Can she ever do wrong? Because that's her perception. She has spent so much time in goodness, she is stuck in goodness. So I promised that I was going to do A.I.M, but I was going to do a letter per day. I'm going to do A.I.M in 3 days. It was a trick. So today I'm doing attitude. That's why I'm spending a little bit more time on attitude. So change your state. So remember, nothing to God, nothing to conquer. Nothing to God, nothing to conquer. Right? Everything works in your favor. Watch. Everything happens for you. Everything happens for you. Everything is happening for you. Everything is happening. Even that tree that just fell in front of you, it happened for you. To distract you from a gunman who was down the street about to pull the trigger. And when he didn't see your car, which you thought was going to be the other car that he was going to shoot at, he took off. So there wasn't even a gunshot. So you kind of start complaining and you go, man, I don't know what happened, man. I was coming to work and the tree just landed in front of me and you could have hit me, and you spent 6 months traumatized. Telling your body cells that they should hold that feeling of trauma. That's very, very dangerous. So I want you to remember, you can always correct your situation by getting into the good feeling, thoughts, yeah? Things are not really as they appear to be. They are as you interpret them to be. Your interpretation, your definition gives things a definition, which is what we call marking a boundary. The word definition is to mark a boundary, is to describe the scope of something, the size of something. Definition is limited. And it's limited to what? Definition is limited to your perception, how you see it. Okay? In closing, I want to give you something that's really, really important. One of the things we have to do, especially in times like this, yeah? To elevate your attitude, I talked about getting a good attitude, keeping a good attitude, protecting it by protecting yourself from things that make you feel bad, right? Okay? People that make you feel bad. You have to change your company sometimes. You have to go into your phone and look at numbers. Every time you see a name in your phone, and every time you see it, you wince, you go, I can't believe this. This dude is in my phone. Delete that number. If you see a phone number in your phone, a name that takes your energy, that's your intuition. Now I'm coming to it. That's your intuition saying, this is not in the spirit of the person you're supposed to be. This is playing outside your spiritual realm. The things you're supposed to experience, this is not one of them. So you delete the number. If you get a phone call from somebody and every time you see it, you go, oh my God, this guy's calling me. Cut the phone, delete the number. Your first priority in this world is you. Because when you're right and you're in the right state of mind and you're protected, you can do so much good in the world. It's incredible. So the last part of when I talk about growing, Listen to me. This is very, very important. This is the most important thing I'm going to say tonight. Growth is inherent. Okay? It's part of you. Now, the things you seek the most in life are inside of you. You are born with something that a layman calls a sixth sense. You've heard of this. It's not the five senses. Your eyes, your nose, your ears, your taste buds, your tongue, yeah? And your hands that touch. Those are the five senses. The sixth sense is intuitive. Intuition came with, listen, there is no scientist in the world that has ever been able to discern the source of intuition. It's not quantifiable. It's not something you can deny a human being. Every single one of us have an intuitive mind. And in fact, an intuition operates outside the scope of your brain. Intuition is spirit, is your spirit man. Yeah, I see Aqua said, it's spiritual discernment, right? Intuition is from God. Okay? It's from God. Watch this. And I tell you how you have intuition. Because you'll have it. You'll have it. Some of you have found a child who's 6 months old at the bottom of your staircase. And you don't know how they got there, but nothing happened. They're fine. You go, oh my God, the baby's here. And they're down there, right? This has also happened to some of you. You are in a place, you're about to step on some cow thing, that stuff, the cow droppings. Let me be very civil here. Cow droppings, or there's something on the ground that's rotten or whatever, and you're about to step in it, your foot jumps. You didn't look there, it just jumped. Or there was a snake even, in some cases. You go, whoa, man, I nearly stepped on that. Did you see that? I just jumped on that. Some of you have planned to go somewhere and something said, don't go. And this is where I want to tell you. So sometimes there's nothing to guard, nothing to conquer. We give ourselves too much credit. The things we are, they're intuitive. They're inborn. So what you have to do is control the externals by learning how to actually keep yourself protected internally. And learning how to listen to your intuition, your spirit man. Because that spirit man, that intuitive self does not understand the word failure. Does not understand the word misery. It's pure love. It's the essence of who you truly are. And when you actually understand that, you know how to connect with that one. Listen, there is very little things in the world that can scare you. You see, fear is the opposite of faith. Fear is the opposite of faith. Fear is born out of the fact that when you lose faith, you get terrorized and you get scared. And when you get scared, you go, the reason we lose, fear is egotistic. Fear is ego-based. Faith is God-based. Let me give you the difference. This is where you have to grow your attitude. Because beyond learning how to control your emotions, you have to learn to tap into that natural state that you are. The spirit man. That intuitive man that no scientist, no machine in this world can measure the amount of intuition you have. There is not one gadget that has ever been manufactured. There's no robot in the world that can tell you what's the value, what's the measure of your intuition. Only God can. God is the only way you can actually understand how intuition works. So what you call little miracles, for some of us, we've learned to understand it's our birthright. You were supposed to be okay. You were supposed to be, indulged. You're supposed to be taken care of. You're supposed to have all the things that you need. You're supposed to have everything that you set your eyes on. You're supposed to have so much more that you can help everybody else. But when we lose that intuitive self, therefore, our godliness. And I didn't intend to preach on this one, but we talked about growing your attitude. So I'm going to go there. And it doesn't really matter your faith. You can be Muslim, you can be Jewish, as long as you link to God. The way we access God is different. I'm a Christian. right? And I'm not going to stand here and judge you, but what I'm telling you right now is you cannot measure intuition with science. So that thing that protects you, should elevate you to understand fear is baseless. There is no place for you to be fearful. Watch. Fear is the opposite of faith. Anxiety is the opposite of excitement. Instead of being anxious, be excited about it. You woke up, man. Some of you wake up and you go, I'm so anxious, I don't know what's going to happen today. No, come on, yo. You woke up today. When you wake up, listen, I woke up today, so I am excited. I'm not anxious, I'm excited. Because I don't have fear, I have faith. So you need to understand that. When you understand that concept, you'll be amazed how things come easy to you. What people call ultimate success and all this kind of stuff, money will be looking for you, man. People will be looking for you to give you contracts. People will be looking for you to buy your stuff. They go, you're not selling anything, you need to sell something. I've done presentations and sales presentations, and the guy's like, I want to spend more money, like give me something. And I go, why? I don't have anything else. That's it, that's all I had. He goes, no, I don't care, like give me more of the same stuff then. I mean, this stuff is normal. And you can tap into that vine. Every single one of us has the potential to tap into that vine, but you've got to lose your mind. So my advice and, my little, if you like, my sharing, if you like, what I'm trying to share here is this, stop this paralysis. It's nonsense. It's not true. It's not true. There's no one out there looking for you. In fact, sometimes we give ourselves too much credit and you think everybody's focused on you until you go older. Some people become 60 and they go, I can't believe it. I've always thought that people were just looking at me. They were watching. Nobody was watching. They were all watching themselves. So whilst you sit there and you go, I wonder if they like me, they're thinking the same. I wonder if I'm going to be okay. They're thinking the same. So everybody is focused on themselves. So strengthen your attitude. Strengthen your attitude. And how you strengthen your attitude, there's the mindset that you have to have. There's an intuition that you need to listen to a little bit more. Expand that, like build on that part. Just become more intuitive and listen to things. If something says don't do that, just back off. Because our essence of existence is supposed to be that of bliss and joy and abundance. We're supposed to have everything. We were born in love. We were born in love. We were born in love, I'm telling you. But unfortunately, because we go through a process of pain to get into this world, the journey is very painful. Giving birth is very painful for some people and others. I don't know. I'm not going to speak on behalf of the ladies. They know it's really painful, very excruciating. It's scary, actually. Yeah. But here's a beautiful thing. We were born in love. We were born in love. So I want to encourage you to master the muscle, your attitude muscle. Be grateful with your attitude. Have an attitude of gratitude. Lose your mind. Forget these people. They lied to you. They said misery is your portion. Misery loves company. They recruited you. But you can walk away. You can walk away. It's not breaking the law. When you walk away from miserable people in your life, you're not breaking the law. Walk away from them. Do you understand? And I want to really, brainwash you to understand that there's a beautiful life the other side of fear. It's called faith. Go with faith. Try it for a week. Try it for a month. Wake up in the morning and tell yourself things that you're not, or people have told you you're not. You go, I'm the most amazing person in this neighborhood. And people go, you're so stupid. Sometimes you have to say it and laugh at yourself. But if you say it 100 times, I guarantee you, your cells, your brain, everything starts to go, you know what, maybe I am. 6 months later, and you start walking around like you are. I'm not talking about ego. I'm not talking about cockiness. I'm talking about confidence. I'm talking about a conviction that you're born with. You were born a prince, a princess, a queen, a king. All of you are. And I asked this question in the last conversation. I talked to some of you guys. How does Harry know that he's royal and I'm not? How many generations did they go back to test their blood and to look at their follicles on their head and go, your hair is royal. Your eyes are royal, but Danny is not. Who told Harry? Who was the first person to tell the king of England, and then the queen, and then the king, and then the king, and then the queen? Who told them that they were royal and I'm not? This is where we go wrong. We give so much accolade and so many things to people, but really, those things that you're dishing out, they're inbuilt, they're within you. So strengthen your attitude, get it, keep it, protect it, and grow your intuition. By growing your intuition, you're growing your attitude. Your intuition will never ever not protect you. There is no negative way of using your intuition. Your intuition does not instruct you to shoot somebody. Your intuition says don't shoot. Your ego says shoot because you're not big enough if you don't shoot. So lean on your intuition. You'll be amazed and you will grow in abundance. So thank you very much. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about intake. I'm going to talk about food and things that you put in the brain. We're going to talk about a different form of attitude. 7 o'clock, same time tomorrow. I'm going to be here talking about intake. And then the last part is M for movement. Yeah. If you master AIM, you will come out of this quarantine, listen man, with so much quality. Yeah, the Q is not for quarantine. The Q is for quality. I spend quality time at home and look at me now. I spend quality time reading and look at me now. I spend so much time listening to the right information. Look at me now. So tomorrow we're going to talk about filters that you need to put on your brain to be able to guard yourself, and the things you need to put in your body to be able to have a strong, fit body to stand the test of time in 2020 during this momentous time of change. You know, I bless you, I pray for you, and I want to really thank God for having given us life, because all of us that are here, we still have our lives. In whatever capacity, you should be very grateful. And I also want to thank God for helping those people who are losing their loved ones right now to keep a spirit of sanity. I want to thank God for all those, relatives, friends of ours that are, abroad. My family is abroad right now, but God has really put his shelter on them. They're covered in the precious blood of Jesus. So I want to really, really be grateful for that. And hey, you know what? When you get off this call, write down 10 things you're grateful for. Your attitude will shift immediately. It will shift immediately. God bless you. Thank you so much for listening. Any question, drop it in the comment. I'll see you tomorrow at 7. All right.